So this has been steeping for about an hour, and now it's time to strain the barley out. So we're straining our barley into the bucket. I'm going to get about 1.5 gallons of cold water and pour that over the barley. That will rinse it and make sure that any residual sugars that are left clinging to the grains will be washed into our wort. So now we've strained our wort, gotten rid of our whole grains that are left over, so we're just left with the sweet liquid. It's a barley tea, basically. We'll put that back in our pot, bring it to a boil, and then we'll start adding our hops. So as our wort is coming back to a boil, let me tell you a little bit about the hops. I'm going to be adding fresh hops, hops that I grew and picked. But if you don't grow your own hops, most people don't, then you can get hops at a brew supply store. The curious thing about hops is that their flavor changes the longer they boil. So we'll add some at the beginning of the boil, and then every 15 to 20 minutes I'll come back and I'll add some more. In the end, we'll add about 3 ounces of store-bought hops, or about the same of the fresh hops. I moved our unbrewed beer down here to the basement last night to cool off. Now it's room temperature. And I like to keep it down here and let it brew down here because it's a nice even temperature. The temperature doesn't fluctuate down here, so the yeast likes that. But now that it's room temperature, it's time to add our yeast. Now I'm using a liquid yeast, which acts a little quicker than a dry yeast. Now it won't take long for that yeast to activate and start eating those sugars in the beer. So we want to seal this off. Put on a rubber stopper to make it airtight, and then I'll put my airlock on top. And this airlock prevents any outside bacteria from getting in, but it also lets any carbon dioxide produced by the beer to get out. Put a little bit of water in there and cap it off. Now this will take about 2 weeks to ferment. When it's done doing its work, we'll bottle it, and we'll put a little extra sugar in there so that our beer is carbonated. After that, about 10 days later, it'll be ready to drink.